PS4, Xbox One. How can you grow a channel on YouTube, a streaming avenue from this game? Well, we know, because we've grown from scratch channels to the 1,000 concurrent viewers on launch day. We've grown channels from scratch for Overwatch, for Minecraft, for World of Warcraft, etc., to over 1 million subscribers. And today, we're going to analyze the channels that have already grown off of Cyberpunk 2077. What did they do to grow? How did they get there? We're going to break down their strategies. We're going to tell you very tangible, very specific things that you can do right now to grow your own Cyberpunk 2077 content and channel. And then, most importantly, we are going to tell you what is 100% confirmed, definitely not going to work, but 90% of creators are going to do anyway. Watch all the way into the end. If you have any plans whatsoever to cover Cyberpunk 2077, this is 10 years of experience between the three of us, 30 total years of experience covering gaming launches. All of that knowledge is going to drop on you right now on the Digital Drop Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Restream. Why live stream to one platform when you can simultaneously live stream to every platform to discover new audiences faster using Restream.io? Right now on the screen, Andrew Perrin has a creator called The Neon Arcade pulled up, who already built a Cyberpunk 2077 channel from scratch using the classic strategy that, I don't know if we invented it, Perrin, but we were damn near close to inventing it in the early days of YouTube, starting like 10 years ago, amigo. It's the standard pre-launch strategy covering the game before it comes out, every bit of news, every scrap of information, etc. Perrin, tell us a little bit about your experience with the pre-launch strategy and what people are going to see now when they see the neon arcades out there getting big views off of this game. What work did they put in pre-launch that led to them being able to get hundreds of thousands of views on videos like the one you see on the screen right now, right when the game drops?
Yeah, this is a tried and true strategy. It happens a year and more in advance of launch. And this is something that the gaming industry is prepped for with these creators. So these creators invest everything, like I said, a year or more up front. They become masters in their knowledge of the game. They consume every little scrap of information that leaks out, comes out of that game, and they create content around it continuously. They get inside access, they get closer to the devs, and they get the game copy earlier than everybody else, normally speaking. This strategy works really, really well because the creator becomes so knowledgeable about the game that anybody who's curious or wants to know anything, you become an authority. That creator becomes an authority that audience members can go to. So then when launch time comes around, every creator goes and flocks to these, every viewer flocks to these creators who are authorities now on the game, and they want to get their take because they already know the answers. They already know everything about the game. They want their questions answered, and these are the guys and gals to go to. It's going to be very hard to compete with if you don't have all that knowledge piled up and you haven't established yourself as an authority on Cyberpunk. You're just some random Joe Schmo streamer out there trying to stream it and be entertaining. You're at a mega disadvantage versus these creators who have leveraged this and pre-built SEO for over a year on it. I've done this successfully with Star Wars: The Old Republic and with another MMO, WildStar. Most notably with WildStar. And it's really hard to compete with them once they get to launch point.
That's true. And so all of these guys that built all of these channels pre-launch, they put in the work, right? They've made hundreds of videos about these games. And so now what they're going to be doing is they're going to be doing all of the traditional content around the game that you see from all the big tubers. And if you want to pull up another example here of Dantix on the screen, I want to show another example of content you're not going to be able to compete against. So everybody out there that thinks you're going to live stream this game and make it, this guy already has access to the game. He's got 1,200 people watching. And as you can see, look at all of the work he put in to build his audience prior to this launch. Did you put in all that work? If not, then you probably aren't going to be able to live stream this game and actually grow a channel. Okay? And so we just want to show this as like, these are people that made 500, 1,000 plus videos to build their audience for it to get to the point where it's at today, to where they can cover the launch of the game and have it succeed. And these channels are also creating content like guide videos. They're creating content like, you know, the basic beginner's guide, what you need to know before you get started, your quick start guide, etc. They're doing all the traditional content. They're covering news and guides around the game and then doing launch streams. The whole point of showing those two examples to you guys on the screen is that is not going to work for you. You can't make guides around this game and have it work if you do generic guides. You can't do launch streams and have that grow. It's not going to work for you. And you're not going to be able to do news content and have that work for you. It's just off the table. It's completely off the table. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to tell us how to grow. Now that you understand that those things aren't going to work, don't waste your time doing those things and instead focus on the things that can potentially work. Why don't you pull up a channel that we always talk about? His name is Typical Gamer. And one thing that I want to highlight, you know what, I'll let you highlight it here. I'm going to cut to the screen. What did Typical Gamer do that got him to become one of the biggest YouTubers ever in the gaming space?
So he actually did the pre-launch strategy too, but he also combined and doubled down on GTA 5 and notice where he went with it. Notice the differentiation here, right? He went after mods. And mods provide endless amounts of content for games post-launch. And it's like almost every new mod is almost like a new game release. And so he covered every new mod and played through it, live streamed it. He actually covered it in a live stream capacity on YouTube. Look at these videos. They're an hour long, an hour 40. These are all live streams where he just set up new mods, showed it off for an hour or an hour and a half, and got massive traction. He actually already had massive traction, so he used this to solidify his spot as like a #1 content creator. But as someone else coming into the space, you could tackle mods now.
Absolutely.
So you want to basically be looking at like the pre-launch cycle, but for mods. So when are mods coming? What type of mods are there going to be? How is it going to work? You want to be asking all these questions because these are the questions that gamers are going to be asking about the game. And you want to be an authority on that topic by doing the research yourself and making video content about it. This means you're going to have to learn and you're going to have to research. You're going to have to acquire more information and then convey that in a concise manner via YouTube video. So this is one method that will work, is going this route, thinking about now that the game has launched, what is coming next? Plan ahead while everyone else is currently thinking, hey, it's here right now. They're not putting much thought into it. They're just, I'm going to stream it and stuff will happen, right? Surely someone will come watch me. I hope so. 0 concurrent viewers. I hope somebody comes and watches me, maybe. No, that strategy is not going to work for you.
So Ross, when you're browsing the queue here, as somebody thinking about playing Cyberpunk 2077, which stream are you going to watch? Okay, so paint this picture in your head. You got A over here on one shoulder, which is Cyberpunk 2077 stream. Let's chill. That's option 1. Option 2 is Thor and Hulk in Night City ? Exclamation point. Which one of those streams are you going to click on post-launch that you are going to actually watch? Which one's going to catch your attention? A chill Cyberpunk stream or Thor and Hulk smashing their way through Night City?
Has he customized the Hulk's genitals? Because that will automatically make me lean over there. No, obviously the answer is going with Thor and Hulk in Night City. Like that, without question. I don't care if you chill. I want to see what Thor and Hulk and the rest of the Avengers are doing in 2077.
That's right. And so that's what the power of mods are. So for those of you out there that are small creators, most of you guys are going to kind of tune out and go, it's hopeless, or I'm just going to stream the game and see what happens. If you decide to be one of the guys that does mods early, like Perrin said, and you go into the modding communities, you play the game on PC, and you install the very first mods that come out, and then you release those mod content on your YouTube channel, and then you stream that mod content, and you just cover every single super popular mod for this game, I guarantee there's going to be at least 3 YouTubers that are going to pop up right now that are going to make enough money if they have the business sense and they listen to some of the advice that we talk about on Digital Drop. I almost guarantee you at least 3 will emerge from the modding community of this game and become full-time gaming content creators. And I bet most people aren't even thinking about it right now. Most creators are thinking, I should stream this at launch. I should do guides. I should cover the news. I should do a review of the game. You guys are smarter than that. Mods are going to help you stand out from the rest of the crowd. Mods are going to help you guys, after the game launches and everybody's seen the core content of the game, actually continue to be interested in it. Hulk smashing Night City is one example, where you can have some kind of crazy cars coming in there, driving as a semi-truck in Night City, having Halo weapons in Night City, like World of Warcraft characters coming into Night City, anti-gravity jumping around all over the city in Night City, being a flying mod where you can fly around the skyscrapers. There's going to be mods where you can go inside of all of the buildings. There's going to be mods that change the universe from, maybe to like an ultra super hyper realistic mode. The list goes on and on and on and on. And whoever watches this podcast and decides to go be the modding guy, where is it? Here is your imaginary ticket. You are now a full-time gaming content creator. Congratulations. So mods, path to success, but you're gonna have to put in hundreds of hours of work to get there with mods. Okay, so that's one type of content. We beat you over the head with mods. But there are other things that you can do in these games to go a layer deeper than just the generic guides content. And that is going ultra, ultra, ultra niche as soon as you dive into the game. So do you remember, Andrew Perrin, do you remember in Star Wars The Old Republic, Datacrons?
I do remember Datacrons. Yep. Oh my God, that's taking me back like what, almost 10 or more years. But yeah, Datacrons were like in that game. They were a hidden like extra thing you could find, and there was like one on each map, I believe. And if you collected them all, you got something. I'm having a hard time remembering.
That's right.
Yeah.
So there's going to be something like that in every single player game. Hidden things in the map that are really hard to find, and making content about how to find those little hidden things, whether I think they're called like tarot cards or something in Cyberpunk. I don't have the game yet. And there's going to be little hidden things of multiple categories, little hidden lore things, hidden items, where to get these obscure things, these different references, these different Easter eggs, all of the hidden things inside of Night City, which is going to be the most vast open world potentially ever made in a video game. If you are the content creator that makes your channel centered around finding all of those secrets in Night City, here's your ticket. You are now a full-time gaming content creator. But you got to put in hundreds of hours into finding every single one of them and make tutorial guides on how to find it, exactly where to go. Here it is. This is how you get. And what you're doing is you're tapping into all of those people that want to be the 100% completionist playthrough types. You're tapping into all those people that are willing to click that thumbnail and that title on YouTube because there's something crazy and obscure there and unique they've never even heard of, because you found it in Night City, maybe not even before everybody else, but you made a video about finding it before anybody else. And that type of content is going to be all over the place in Cyberpunk 2077. Easter eggs, references, hidden items, secrets, etc. So that is niche number 2. Any content creator can do. You don't have to be a big content creator to break through on that. You could be a nobody today with 0 subscribers and hit that niche over and over and over again. As each of the patches release, you hit that over and over and over again. As multiplayer comes out, you hit that over and over and over again. And there's unlimited content essentially for you to create. How to find every freaking thing in Night City? Here's exactly how you do it. People are going to be searching for that nonstop, and boom, full-time content creator born right there. There's idea number 2 for you. But wait, there's more. Ross, I heard that there's this thing that people like to do on the internet, and it's called playing video games with other people. Have you heard about that?
No, tell me more.
Yeah, and Cyberpunk 2077 is going to have this, it's called multiplayer mode.
French.
I think it's,
nice.
Yeah. And so this is going to be coming out in the future, and everybody's looking forward to it. And so Are you looking forward to that mode?
I can't wait. I cannot wait. I think that's going to be the game changer. Am I wrong?
You're not. And so there may be people like you and me on the internet that may be searching for information about multiplayer, or even just want any scrap of information at all about multiplayer, even though it's not out there. And they're willing to watch you talk, audience, about multiplayer and what it might be like and what could be involved for days, for years, literally, with only scraps of information Perrin, I think you ran a strategy like that in the past with games that you've hyped up in the past. And with only like 3 pieces of information, you can talk about all the possibilities for like hundreds of videos and podcasts. Am I wrong?
Sometimes you can get a lot out of very little, and that's the whole ball game here. You want to first think constructively on how are different types of gamers going to look at this game, and what are the things that they're going to have trouble with. And those niches are like completionist playthroughs. You can also look at it from a speedrunning perspective, because there are gamers who are going to look at speedrunning or solving bugs. If you run into a bug in the game and figure out how to get around it, guess what? Someone else is probably going to have that issue too. You could probably make a video on it and you would probably get some views. Same with firing up the game and getting the most out of performance on your PC. There's so many different angles that you can go after that are so niche.
That's a good one, man. I like that. Best controls, best settings, most optimized.
How to play with the controller. Like, what's the best controller to play it with on like PC? How good is it with Steam controller? There are so
Increased
many
frame
different
rate.
ways to play the game. Yeah, how do you play it in over 60 FPS? How does it perform on a 3090 versus a 2080 Ti? There's all these very niche entry points into the game that aren't really covered by the general YouTubers. They're normally covered by the smaller fringe YouTubers. And that's where you want to be, because that's where you're going to start to pick up the growth. So you got to be thinking that way. What are these random little areas that these other major creators aren't going to tackle? They're going to be focusing on the main game. They're going to be focusing on, history and lore. Here's like the general thing of how this build works, or here's what the corpo playthrough is like. They're going to be focusing on the main game stuff. You got to go fringe, go very niche. Mm-hmm. and think as much as possible about the other types, all the different types of gamers and how they might play the game. Think outside the box. And this has worked well. I did this with Guild Wars 2. I didn't play the game for very long, but I did all these little videos on how to do like little Easter eggs in the game. There was Vista views, which was kind of like datacrons, which I still get views off of sometimes, like 8 years later, which is crazy. Not that they ever got like a ton of total views, but those type of things in the game. What are some other ones? Is there any more?
Every game, it doesn't even matter what it's called. The idea is these are there's going to be cinematic locations, for example, in Cyberpunk 2077, like in every other game, where you stand in one spot, it does a pan, and you can see the beautiful views in Night City. There's going to be like, who knows, 20 of those. Make a video on how to get to all of those. 20 videos, there you go. 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 views, just waiting for you to take. Because the big boys aren't going to make content about this one little detail in Night City. But if you do, cha-ching, 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 you're getting views and audience off of that. And you know what I mean? So like, there's going to be tons of stuff like that in the game. That is just, it requires work, and it requires attention to detail and making content about just taking apart every little bit and piece of this universe and of this game and making a video about it is going to be the only way for small creators to grow, in my opinion. By going after these teeny tiny little details. Other games have stuff like that too, where you go up to the top of the cliff, and when you reach it, there's like a cinematic view that you can do, and it's like a special mode, and boom, there's 20 videos for you for Cyberpunk, assuming that the game has something like that. It's just an idea for you guys. And one thing I was trying to hit a moment ago, a multiplayer, and Perrin went a different direction, which is great. Of other niche topics. It's okay. Can you pull up the channel called Quest Mode on YouTube? Further inspiration for you guys to take a look at. So here's another type of content. So we've already covered 3 types of content you can make. This is the 4th type, which is upcoming. And so what I was trying to illustrate with Ross is Ross and I and everybody else are looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer, right? And so if you made an entire channel only looking forward to multiplayer, talking about, like, let's use just literally some of the things that you see on the screen here. The 2021 predictions for it. Things I discovered, like, what we want is another thing. What could PvP be like? How should we handle weapons in the multiplayer version? What vehicle should be available in the multiplayer version? Will there be what will microtransactions be like in the multiplayer version? And as soon as they release any scraps of information along the way, Like, here's a screenshot. You do a screenshot breakdown on what multiplayer is going to be like. You do all this speculation and all this hype content, all this coverage of what you want the multiplayer to be like, what it could be like, and taking things that are currently in the single player version of the game and then extrapolating what does the multiplayer version of that look like. You've got like 500 videos ready to rock. And then you own the key term Cyberpunk 20 or Cyberpunk Online, I believe is what it's going to be called. But you could probably also use the key term Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer. Whoever watches this podcast and decides to be that guy, here is your ticket to become a full-time gaming content creator. You're welcome.
I like that.
You know what? 90% of y'all aren't going to do it. What would you say, Ross?
No, I was saying I like that the best. It kind of ties in everything that you've said so far about almost creating a channel for a game well in advance of when the game actually releases. Because CD Projekt Red's already said that Cyberpunk multiplayer, Cyberpunk Online, whatever it's going to be, they're treating it as a standalone game. The earliest that we know it could come out is holiday 2021. So this is actually a chance to kind of combine two strategies that you've talked about here on this podcast.
That's right. That's right. And so, okay, let's review these strategies. And while I'm doing that, lock and load that link, Ross, because we know we love Restream.io. So strategy number 1 we talked about was modding. If you cover mods for the game and you focus on making a modding specific channel and live streams, people will click your live stream if you have mods on there. If you have Hulk smashing Night City, you better believe people are clicking that live stream and watching that video, man. Number 2 was, what was it? I forgot what the second one was that we said. But other than modding, going super, super niche on niche topics is what we talked about. Perrin mentioned how to increase your frame rate, how to play with a controller, how to smash bugs, etc. And then another thing we talked about
was the Datacron method.
Yeah,
right.
And then 3, there you go. Thank you very much. Thank you. Secrets, Easter eggs, hidden items, how to finds for single player games. There's going to be hundreds of videos on that. You can cover that. And then upcoming for Cyberpunk Online. That's the 4th category. These are all wide open niches that none of the big boys are going to go after right now. All the big boys are covering the game itself, going over the main quest line, like we talked about, doing guides, and just covering all the obvious stuff. If you go after these 4 niche categories and you start building your channel today, there's going to be a full-time gaming content creator that's born for all 4 of these. Do you want to claim one of these spots? It's up to you if you want to be that person. If you want to be that person, you need to get started right now. Okay? So Perrin, I want you to review really quick. What are the things that are definitely not going to work? I just want to review that. What is definitely not going to work that 90% of creators or a bunch of creators are going to do for Cyberpunk? I want to make sure that we're just very crystal clear on what is more or less a waste of time.
Chill streaming the game launch. Yeah. Don't chill stream the game launch. You can stream it, but don't expect much from that at all on a launch stream. Just generally playing the game and you having commentary over the top, no one cares.
Let's plays? Hell no. Nobody wants that.
Let's plays, no one's going to care. I mean, any sort of stream coverage now or generalized coverage. So if you're just covering like one of the major quest lines and you're just covering your playthrough of one of those major quest lines, no, not going to happen. Anything that's not niche, it's not going to work, unfortunately. Live streaming in general, I think completely won't work. Is that right, guys? Are we gonna
unless you're doing mod content, yeah. I think the live streaming is not going to work. That's right.
Yeah, that's just too competitive. You can wait in 3 months when all the big popular creators get off of the game. Some of them are trying to get through as fast as possible, so you might have some room there, but don't expect live streaming pretty much at all to be successful with this game unless you've already built up some audience for it. But we're assuming in this episode that you haven't. So what am I missing here, guys? What else isn't going to work? I know there's some obvious ones.
I have one that is maybe people are thinking about the lore of Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes, history and lore.
I would say that is maybe a coin flip. That's going to be very competitive. And here's why. I advise some of the top lore YouTubers out there in the nerd and gaming space. They are going to be covering this game. And so you're going to be up against people that release lore videos for Cyberpunk that get like 150,000 views in day one, it's going to be a very competitive space. You are not the first person to think about lore. So I would kind of put that as like a mid-range opportunity. Maybe you can break through on some lore, but probably not. That's going to be actually a lot more competitive than you'd think. I mean, literally the video we've been showing on the stream today is, I know we were just showing it a moment ago. Here from Neon Arcade was the complete history and lore of Cyberpunk Part 2. Like they're already on Part 2 of it in the game. This is like before the game even came out. 141,000 views, right? And these guys put in, easily 40, 50 hours into making each one of these videos. And so this is going to be very competitive. So a lot of people think, I can do the lore. That's niche. For a game like this, as popular as it is, it's not so niche. It's not so niche, actually. It's actually quite saturated. And Ross, I believe that we are sponsored by a company that can help you break through in saturated platforms like Twitch and YouTube and Facebook and what have you. What is the name of this, Rastramio or something like that?
Yeah, that's another French word that we've been hitting highly on. Restream.io. Stop focusing on one platform and try to grow on every single platform using Restream.io. The comment, you can find it in the comments or you can find it in the description. It's drop 30% off your first month. And in no time, you'll be streaming to Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, if you like, Facebook Gaming, Trovo, DLive, every other platform, a lot that you haven't even heard of. Get on all of them, find out which platform is right for you.
That's right. Question here from Squad Track in chat. I want to take this real quick before it ends. Hello, Digital Drop Team. Do you think Cyberpunk will kill GTA 5? Perrin, go.
No. GTA is very rare that you dethrone the champ, and GTA 5 just has a lot. It already has multiplayer. It already has lots of mods. It already has a life of its own. Cyberpunk will not dethrone GTA 5 anytime soon. The only way it's going to dethrone GTA 5 is whenever Rockstar comes out with GTA 6, if that ever happens. So in the in between, maybe Cyberpunk will rise up there, but I highly doubt it. Real quick, can we talk about build videos real quick? Because we didn't hit that. Like, I found a really cool build in the game. I think it's really powerful. It's overpowered. Should I make videos on it? What's our answer to that one, guys?
No. I would say no. Don't make content on that. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a million channels.
It's an obvious one that like every creator thinks they should do because they play the game like, oh, this build is so good. I'm gonna dominate YouTube search with it. No, it's not gonna work.
No. Did you pull up AirX in your Chrome tabs as a channel example?
No, I don't.
It's okay. There are channels out there that only do build videos and they don't work. Ross, is Cyberpunk Online or Cyberpunk 2077 going to kill GTA 5?
No, it's not even gonna come close. At least like what Perrin said down the road when GTA 6 is out. Let's not forget that Cyberpunk's overshadowed this, but GTA has a really big DLC coming out like this week or next week with an entirely new like island map to it. And not to mention they're getting exclusive content for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. GTA 5, 7 years later, still has more content coming out than games that were released a year ago. So no, GTA 5, it's definitely not going anywhere. That's a tough one. It's like Pit Boss Pat said, if you take a shot at the champ, you better not miss. And that's kind of the case with where GTA is right now.
And so that let's have that be our final thought. GTA 5 may be the most comparable game to Cyberpunk 2077 that we can look at. 7 years later, I believe you said, GTA 5 is still wildly popular, but what about it is wildly popular today? This is the long view moment. This is why you tune into the end of the podcast. Grand Theft Auto Online, GTA Online, is a thing that people make content about, and modding is a thing that people make content about. And also role-playing down the road with GTA Online. So those are the things that last long term with games like that. So that's why we're talking about you should hype up and build an audience for the multiplayer. You should be building an audience for the modding. And then later on, maybe role-playing will be something for Cyberpunk. We'll see. I don't know. But those things are based on facts. This advice we're giving you is based on real situations and real content that's happened with GTA 5. GTA 5 will be the king of open world games. Cyberpunk Online will never even come close. I'll put money on it. Who wants to take that bet? Put your bets in the comments below. Bye-bye.